幸せにしたかったんだと思います。
まだ着替え。
Like and subscribe so you can get 100 girlfriends. He tells him that no one can live alone in this world, although Akimitsu seems too young to understand what his father is saying. Moreover, his dad tells him that as a part of the Akagami family, it's important for him to understand. Furthermore, he tells him that 2 is better than 1 and many is better than 2. He associates his example with friends. Having more friends makes a person happier. That's where he reveals his intentions. He tells Akimitsu that having multiple lovers is far better than 1. Wait, is he planning to bring another wife home? And surprisingly, Akimitsu seems impressed with his father's words as he calls him cool. But that's where his father's ride arrives. Looks like he has decided to live his own life and leave his 7-year-old kid behind. Furthermore, he tells Akimitsu that he has decided to get friendly with all the women around the world that he hasn't met yet. Bro is aiming to lay every woman that exists. As he departs, Akimitsu starts to shout with joy instead of crying. He farewells his father and again calls him the coolest dad. Anyways, back to the present day. In the snowy weather, we see Yuzuki waking up and ringing the bell to wake everyone up. Although after sleeping for hours, Akimitsu realizes that he has a class to attend. Therefore, he immediately rushes towards the subway for school. He still remembers the wisdom his father gave him before he left. But unlike other guys, he seems way more focused on his studies than staring at girls' buns as they run. Even when his friends tell him to stop and take a look at the girls, Akimitsu rejects their offer and reveals that he has some important work to do. He even says no when they offer him to visit the mixer. Turns out, Akimitsu believes that he is better alone and needs no girl. Okay, now that's quite the opposite of what inspired him from his dad. Later that night, Akimitsu picks up an extra shift at the local mart. At first, his boss apologizes for making him work at the mart at night, since Akimitsu is a college student, so the boss thought that he would have some other plans, such as going on dates or something. But that's when he interrupts his boss and tells him that he plans to stay single for life. Although it shocks his boss because at this age, Akimitsu's father reveals that his father had multiple affairs back in the day. That's where Akimitsu stops and glares at him and tells him that he is nothing like his father. Later, on his way home, Akimitsu starts to think about his childhood. He seems to be pissed at himself for thinking that his perverted scumbag was cool. Well, mainly because while growing up, Akimitsu had to face so much embarrassment because of him. He even calls his father a jerk for leaving him and ruining the reputation of the Akagami family. Even the girls have always avoided him because of what they heard about the Akagami family. So now, Akimitsu wishes to wipe away the dishonor that his father has brought. Hence, Akimitsu will live a life without a girlfriend and mixers. He thinks that it's a noble life to live alone. Moreover, he plans to pass the civil service exam and acquire a stable income and status. At least the boy is serious with his career. At this point, Akimitsu is way focused on his thoughts. On the other hand, we see a bale of rice falling right into Akimitsu's head. Hence, Akimitsu rolls down the road along with the bale and ends up bumping into the wall. That's when Yuzuki runs towards Akimitsu while holding 2 more bales of rice. She immediately starts to apologize and asks him if he's okay. Moreover, she starts to call an ambulance as she seems to be worried. But on the other hand, Akimitsu just sits there silently and observes Yuzuki as she seems worried. But he instantly snaps out of it and immediately starts to walk away from her. He starts to sweat and curses himself because he has promised to not fall in love for the rest of his life. Later that night, she even haunts him in his dream. At this point, he can't stop himself from thinking of how cute she is. Hence, the era of the Sigma male ends, and the very next day, Akimitsu starts to stare at girls while they practice running. Moreover, he even joined the boys to go to the mixer. Although it doesn't take too long till he realizes that he has gone insane after looking at Yuzuki. He even got fired from his job and started to skip classes. Looks like the curse of Akagami has been activated. Therefore, he decides to join the monks so he could distance himself from girls. And as he enters the temple gate, he meets none other than Yuzuki herself. The situation gets even worse when he starts to notice Yuzuki's clothes are loose. Hence, her body starts tempting Akimitsu. In the end, Akimetsu couldn't stop himself and immediately confesses his love to Yuzuki. It then cuts to both of them peacefully having tea, while Yuzuki reveals that the head priest isn't available right now. Therefore, Yuzuki is in charge of the temple for now. At this point, Akimetsu seems surprised because he never thought that the Temple of Monks would even hire girls. Anyways, Akimetsu gets so hesitant that he takes a walk outside to use the restroom. However, on his way, he hears kitten noises under the well. Therefore, he immediately reaches out to help the cat. However, Akimetsu ends up falling inside. And on the other hand, Yuzuki seems to be talking to her sister Kiki-san. Looks like someone was supposed to meet Yuzuki tomorrow for an arranged marriage meeting. Therefore, she thinks that Akimetsu is that guy, and she further defines the whole scenario to her sister. It confuses Kiki because the man that Yuzuki is supposed to meet is sitting right next to her. Even Tsukuyo gets back home to Yuzuki. So Yuzuki tells her sister that a malevolent ghost had appeared at their house. At first, Tsukuyo doesn't believe her, but she sees Akimetsu covered in blood approaching them and asking for help. Both of the sisters start to panic. Moreover, dizzy Akimetsu accidentally touches Tsukuyo's jiggles. Therefore, Yuzuki receives him a flying kick, hence both of the sisters start to run for their lives. Whereas we see Akimetsu chasing them, although he just wants to clarify the misunderstanding. Even their third sister Kugari witnesses Akimetsu chasing the rest. Hence, she ends up passing out cold. On the other hand, we see Kagura and Mia peacefully making her drawing, until the cute Tsundere decides to check outside and ends up getting bumped by raging Akimetsu. Just how many exact girls live in this temple? Anyways, Yuzuki finally manages to knock Akimetsu down before he could explain himself. Later, as they finally had a proper conversation, Kiki reveals that Akimetsu has entered the wrong house. It isn't a temple. Whereas Yuzuki assumed that Akimetsu is the monk that she was supposed to meet. So at this point, none of them is any mistake. Turns out the temple has been converted into a nunnery now. So to make up for Yuzuki's mistake of beating him up, Kiki decides to let Akimetsu stay here for a while and continue his practice as a monk. At first, everyone seemed to oppose the idea of letting a man stay at a nunnery, but that's where Kiki tells them that Akimetsu would be nothing but free labor for them. Although, Akimetsu's dignity doesn't allow him to stay in this place. Therefore, he decides to leave and give up on Yuzuki. However, Yuzuki stops him and offers him to stay at the nunnery for a night, since it's midnight. Furthermore, she confronts him about his confession. She thinks that Akimetsu is taking things way too fast. Therefore, they start by introducing themselves. But that didn't turn out well. Looks like Akimetsu's father had to return 20 million yen to the nunnery. Hence, everyone's hatred towards Akimetsu increases more. Therefore, Mia decides to keep Akimetsu as their slave to repay his father's debt. Even Yuzuki seems to be looking forward to it. The next day starts with Yuzuki telling our MC they have decided for him to repay his debt by giving his body. The episode is already off with a good start. Everyone starts panicking, thinking MC has blackmailed Yuzuki. Instead, it was just a slip of the tongue from Yuzuki. She corrects immediately by saying that he will repay his debt by working in the temple for them. Yuzuki shows Akagami around the temple. Akagami sees that they are broke, so he reassures them that he will pay his debt as soon as possible. Yuzuki thanks him for being serious about working here, and they shake hands happily. Everyone sees them shaking hands from the slit of the door and think that Akagami has trapped Yuzuki into thinking that he is a good guy. They are thinking of ways to get rid of MC, and suddenly, Kiki enters and tells them that they should use the seduction strategy and show Yuzuki that he is not a good guy but a pervert. Tsukuyo asks Kiki who should be the one seducing him. Kiki says, obviously the girl with the most desirable body. Everybody points towards Tsukuyo and says that she is the sexiest girl around just because she has big melons. She is not happy with the decision, but she agrees. The next day at 5 o'clock, Akagami wakes up energetically and starts cleaning and doing chores around the temple. As he is making breakfast for everyone, Yuzuki just woke up and enters the kitchen where Akagami is making breakfast. Her melons are quite visible, to say the least, and Akagami cannot help but stare at her melons. He completely forgot about his breakfast while looking at those ostrich eggs. She then goes off to sound the bell. He feels frustrated after getting a look at her beautiful melons. Tsukuyo watches all this happening and is a little itchy about it. Akagami calls everyone to have breakfast. Now, everyone is sitting at the breakfast table and old Tsukuyo is thinking about how to drive this guy out. She starts to show off her cleavage by lowering the neck just enough, so they are in perfect view. He presents the breakfast, and after taking one bite, she understands that he is a better cook than anyone around, and she wishes to eat this for breakfast every day. But she composes herself for their strategy of seduction. She is really absorbed in the strategy. She calls him and he looks back to see why she called him. He is completely distracted by her balloons. Naturally, she thinks that it's working. I mean, why wouldn't it work? She takes him to the wardrobe and shows him the summer outfit, telling him that this is the outfit monks wear. She thinks that this will be uncomfortable for him, but he is very excited and thanks her for giving him the outfit of monks. She tells him to clean everything around, but he has already done everything. She is shocked. She tells him to do the administrative work, and he right away picks up an accounting error and fixes it in no time. Tsukuyo is impressed, but she still composes herself. She makes him stand under the cold water pouring right on top of him, saying this is the cold water meditation, and he does it with ease. What kind of meditation is this? Now Tsukuyo is out of methods to drive him out. Kiki tells her there is one way left to get what they are after. A little later, Akagami is having a bath, feeling good about how he performed today. He gets out of the bath and sees Tsukuyo sitting on the floor in his room. He is confused and naked. Suddenly, realizing he's naked, he jumps back in the bathtub. Tsukuyo then enters the bathroom, lowering her neck to show off her cleavage while feeling like a nympho. Nympho sounds like a cool gamer name, I don't know why. She has messaged Yuzuki to come to Akagami's room in 5 minutes. By that time, she has to figure out a way to make Akagami feel so frustrated that he starts making out with her on the floor, just so Yuzuki can see all of this happening, thinking Akagami is a pervert. Her plan is not working, and now she is confused as she stumbles and hits the cabinet with boxes on top of it. One of the boxes falls on her and Akagami runs to save her. He manages to save her, and by doing this, they are in the position on the floor with faces right next to each other. A second box falls on Akagami's head and pushes his face into Tsukuyo's face. Now they are kissing by accident. Surprisingly, Tsukuyo's plan worked. She asks Akagami to leave and also leaves the room. Everyone is celebrating that they have managed to drive Akagami out, but Tsukuyo doesn't feel good about it. She is walking around and sees Yuzuki, so she calls her, but she ignores her and walks away. She goes behind her and calls her one more time, but Yuzuki is clearly avoiding Tsukuyo. Eventually, Yuzuki enters her room and shuts the door. Tsukuyo feels bad about Yuzuki avoiding her, so she enters her room and asks her why she is avoiding her. Yuzuki says her face reminds her of Akagami's naked body. Tsukuyo calls her a pervert sarcastically, and she asks Yuzuki why she let Akagami, a guy, join the nunnery. Then Yuzuki explains that this is what mom would have done, and she saw that Akagami wanted to prove his earnestness. They figure they should tell Akagami about the situation, but he just packed his stuff and left. After leaving, Akagami feels he should turn himself in for kissing Tsukuyo, so he goes to a police station and tries to turn himself in. They ask him to leave and tell him to never come back again, so he tries to go to his old place for living, but a new tenant has already moved in. He asks what they did with his stuff, and they say that they threw everything out. Eventually, he goes under a bridge and thinks about Yuzuki. He thinks about Tsukuyo and is thankful that her training made him strong. While thinking about them, he gets some worldly thoughts or desires thinking about their melons, but he slaps these worldly thoughts out of him. He figures out he should sell his organs to repay his debt, but even selling his organs might not be enough. Out of nowhere, Yuzuki is right in front of him and tells him to come back to the temple where she could teach him how to achieve real enlightenment. She tells him that she asked him to leave the bathroom, not the temple, and Tsukuyo is standing right behind him. She apologizes for tricking him and tells him she did it because she thought he was not serious. So Tsukuyo asks Akagami to come back to the temple and hands him a fee of 5 million yen for kissing her. Naturally, Akagami is shocked. A little later, they get back to the temple, and the rest of them are surprised as to why Akagami is back. Tsukuyo explains she thought it is ok if he lives there. Yuzuki asks Tsukuyo to join her for a bath. Kugari is sitting in the room and she is surprised to see Akagami once again. She tells Tsukuyo that Yuzuki has asked her for a bath and she should go. Tsukuyo tells her there is no rush and Kugari explains that she used to not be as sharp as she is now. Akagami tells her she should not say that about her sister. Tsukuyo goes off to have a bath with Yuzuki and Akagami, and Kugari goes to the kitchen to make dinner. As they are in the kitchen, Akagami thinks about wanting to know about 17-year-old Yuzuki. This guy is weird. However, he says these thoughts out loud and Kugari tells him being pervy is not a bad thing. She tells him he should look inside the bathroom where they are having a bath. Even though he denies it, Kugari goes to open the door. He runs to stop her, but Kugari moves aside in time and Akagami's hand lands on the handle. So he accidentally opens the door and sees Yuzuki and Tsukuyo in full view. No, I am not jealous. Okay, maybe just a little. Yuzuki and Tsukuyo are mad and beat him up because of this. They tell Kugari to stop teasing Akagami like this. As Akagami is laying down after getting beaten up, Mia appears in front of him and tells him that because of him, this temple has fallen into depravity. We see that Mia is very angry at Akagami and thinks he has actually defeated those two girls. So she challenges MC to a duel and puts forward a condition as well. She says that if Akagami loses this duel, she will castrate him. Whoa, hold up. She will do what now? Upon hearing this, everyone is shocked to the core. Yuzuki and Tsukuyo cannot believe what Mia just said. On the other hand, MC was shocked at first, but he's surprisingly on board with this condition. At sunset, Yuzuki, Tsukuyo, and Kugari are off somewhere. Yuzuki wishes Akagami good luck. Meanwhile, Mia is getting ready for the duel and is preparing very seriously. Kagura is helping her get ready. They'll get ready in 5 minutes. As soon as Yuzuki and others leave, Mia shows up fully prepared. She asks Akagami if he is ready for the duel. Akagami nods. She hates Akagami and really wants to castrate him. As she says this, Kagura introduces herself to Akagami. She is very polite. Akagami asks her if she and Mia are sisters. She is actually her older sister, but Mia said she is lying. Mia tells Akagami that she has been working hard to learn Japanese culture, but Akagami has come to ruin her hard work. Mia explains that they will be dueling, playing a sport called Hyakumen Isshu. Furthermore, she explains that a long time ago, a samurai killed one person to save the lives of hundreds of people. She says that this will determine which one of them is going to win. As she's done talking, she gets her sword ready. Akagami thinks she is joking. Mia strikes with her sword and cuts some of his hair off. Akagami is surprised to see that she was actually serious all along. Akagami is concerned now. He does not want to hurt Mia but also wants to win, so she does not castrate him. Mia starts charging toward him with her sword. While she is running toward him, a piece of tape from Mia's body hangs out. Kagura grabs that piece of tape, tightening the tape around Mia's body. This makes her balloons pop out. Akagami is quite shocked to see this. However, she is still charging with her sword, and as she is about to strike, Akagami stops her by grabbing her melons. Mia loses and falls to the ground. Don't try this at home, kids. Now, Mia has lost the duel and has to be punished. Kagura asks MC what he wants to do with her. He actually does not know at this moment. But you guys know, right? Kagura takes a book out with all the unusual ascetic practices in it. This lady is hiding a devil behind that innocent smile. She says he can choose from this book, but Akagami is hesitant. Kagura chooses herself, and what she just selected is very weird. Kagura has selected a practice for Mia in which she has to insert all kinds of things in all of her orifices. Wait, did I start watching the wrong anime? Mia is terrified, but she accepts this punishment. Akagami stops her and tells her that he has another idea. No, this idea was actually quite entertaining. He points towards the book Mia is holding and says that he wants that, but Mia thinks he is pointing toward her balloons. Mia is shocked and does not want this to happen. Akagami says he will be gentle and that he wants to try all kinds of things. Mia freaks out and runs away. At night, Akagami thinks that he failed to reconcile with Mia today. He falls asleep thinking about this. In the middle of the night, his sleep is disturbed and he sees Mia sitting on top of him. Mia says that she is ready for the punishment. Saying this, she gets her melons out and pushes them on Akagami's face. She tells him that he can do anything so they can settle this quarrel between them, but he has to do it quickly. Akagami thinks this is a dream. It is my dream though. He is about to grab one of them when he suddenly sees that Kagura is recording all of this with a camera. Suddenly, he jumps out of bed freaking out. He tells Mia that if she does not want the practices of the book, it is fine, but she does not have to offer her body instead. Mia realizes that Akagami actually wanted the book and not her melons. She once again runs away and stops before a storage shed. She decides to sit in there and meditate. Hence, she enters the shed and Akagami is already there. She tries to get out of the shed, but Kagura locks it from outside. Now Mia and Akagami are both stuck inside this shed. Akagami hands her a blanket as it is cold, but she doesn't want it. He sees an odd-looking desk and asks Mia what kind of desk this is. She says that it is a sutra transcription desk. This desk is used for displaying the heads of the ones that turn away from the teachings of the Buddha. She also says that his head will eventually end up there. Saying this, Mia sneezes. Akagami once again offers her the blanket, but she refuses. Akagami forces her and tells her to not be stubborn and take the blanket because it gets cold at night. Akagami is very close to her as he is handing her this blanket. Mia frustratedly tells him to stay away from her because if he gets too close, he will turn her on. That easily. MC was surprised to hear her say this. She says that this is not what she meant to say. Saying this, she starts weeping like a baby. MC puts the blanket on her because he does not want her to catch a cold. After some time, they are sitting on the floor at a distance from one another. Mia asks Akagami if he can forget what just happened and what happened in his room. He tells her that it is going to be very difficult for him to do that. I agree with MC on this one. Mia is very shy. MC is curious as to why Mia acted out of character before. Mia tells him that that was the real her and her strong personality is the fake one. She tells him that her true nature has clung to her like a curse, and that is the reason she came to Japan. She explains that she is actually from a wealthy family called the Kristoff family. Her mother inspired and motivated her to find hundreds of lovers for herself as she did. They are called the erotic family. So this is where the stepsister videos come from. When she goes to school, her motivation of getting hundreds of lovers made her lonely and everyone started avoiding her. This made her sad until she met Kagura. Kagura was her friend when there was nobody around for her. Kagura and she joined this nunnery and Mia was confident that she will be able to handle her erotic self there. But she frustratedly tells MC that since he showed up she is in agony and cannot control herself. Saying this, she looks at MC and he is crying like a waterfall. She asks him why he is crying and he explains that this is something he is also going through. He totally understands her pain. They both start crying and sharing their pain with each other when Mia thinks maybe MC is the one that fate has sent her. But she quickly realizes that this is once again her erotic self that made her think that. She decides that she has to run away from MC and the Kristoff family. As she is thinking all this, MC tells her that they both should fight this agony and help each other. They both agree and MC holds her hand and helps her stand up. Kagura opens the door and comes into the shed. Mia asks her where she was the whole time and Kagura replies laughing that she was out there listening to all this. Kagura offers the Book of Penances once again and explains that now they have settled their differences, they should perform the penances all night long. Mia and MC accept and do not fear the penances anymore. In the morning, Yuzuki is cleaning outside the temple when she sees Kagura recording something in the shed. Kagura shows her that it is Mia and MC performing in penance together, and they have been doing this all night long. What kind of punishment is this? Am I even watching anime anymore? Yuzuki is shocked and stuck in place looking at this. After some time, all of them are sitting in the temple. Kiki enters the room and reminds Yuzuki that she was supposed to be at the matchmaking meeting today. Yuzuki remembers and freaks out because she is late to the meeting. Yuzuki and MC run to the bus stop, and on the way, Yuzuki tells MC that she has to be at this meeting because she has to get married if she wants this temple to stay open. It is not closed because of Kiki, but she cannot stay forever. She has to have a family to make sure this temple does not close, and she just can't let that happen. MC is surprised at her determination and is also motivated. He makes sure that she is not late to the meeting. He gets a random guy to lend them a scooter so they can be on time. They are on their way, and MC tells Yuzuki that he actually knows all the shortcuts because he also worked as a delivery guy. Yuzuki is surprised that MC knows everything. They are on their way to the meeting and suddenly, they are out of gas. Yuzuki and MC are afraid that they might not make it to the meeting in time when Yuzuki spots a bus. They run to the bus and get on it. What we see is that it is not a bus but a truck, and it is not headed the way they are supposed to be going. I'm sure if this was another anime, one of them would get hit by Truck-kun. They are in the trunk of the truck. Yuzuki is losing all motivation and is about to give in. She thinks maybe it is impossible for her to keep the temple open. MC is listening to all this. He tells Yuzuki that this is actually an opportunity for her to get changed and he will borrow the truck when they are at the next red light. Yuzuki reminds him that he is already in debt. How is he going to borrow the truck when he has nothing to offer? MC lets her know that she has nothing to worry about. He also tells her that he has nothing to lose. Yuzuki is motivated and changes. They have 30 minutes to get to the meeting. We then see a glimpse of Kiki telling Yuzuki that it would take her at least 3 years to become a head priest. However, the temple only has a year left before it would get sealed. Therefore, Yuzuki is left with no choice but to hire a matchmaker to save the temple. Anyways, Akimitsu manages to reach the temple, although he crashes into a tree right in front of the temple. Not sure if that's good luck or bad luck. On the other hand, Yuzuki immediately reaches out to the monk and tells him that she's here for matchmaking. Hence, Akimitsu wishes her good luck for the meeting and tells her that no such man exists in this world that would fail to fall for her. Although, Yuzuki laughs at him and straight up runs towards the temple. Bro must be feeling like a clown. Moreover, Akimitsu realizes that this might be a farewell for him. Since Yuzuki is planning to get married, therefore it wouldn't suit her to live with a guy like him. While Akimitsu does his emotional speech, a mysterious woman seems to be sitting next to him as she hears him whining. That woman believes that Akimitsu is associated with the temple because of his work clothes. Therefore, she drags Akimitsu inside the temple and tells him to clean up the yard. On the other hand, we see Yuzuki greeting a guy and introducing herself. Her matchmaker is the third son of Ryokoku Temple, not sure how that works, and his name is Kijo Hon. He starts the conversation by asking Yuzuki why she seeks a matchmaker at a young age. Without hesitating, Yuzuki reveals that she loves the Mikasuki Temple and the people that live there. How is that even an answer to that? She even tells Hon to pay a visit sometime where she'll introduce him to her friends that are like her family. Furthermore, she calls those people warm, kind, and dependable. And that's where Yuzuki notices Akimitsu staring deadly into her as he seems to be cleaning the yard. It freaks her out because Yuzuki starts to believe that the person standing in the yard is a doppelganger of Akimitsu, since he can't be just simply hanging around the temple and cleaning it up by just arriving. Whereas Akimitsu starts to feel jealous, he doesn't like Yuzuki meeting with any other man, since he finds Yuzuki's figure quite alluring that no man can take his eyes off her. Although Akimitsu then starts to beat himself up to control his worldly desires. And to make things worse, Hon tells Yuzuki to calm down and think as if a family member is around her. Little does he know that this might be the worst advice at the moment. At this point, Yuzuki starts to get nervous, so Akimitsu decides to hide himself. And that's where we see the nun calling him up. And here we thought the situation wouldn't get worse. The nun actually decides to substitute Akimitsu with the matchmaker since he was sick and couldn't come to the temple. So at this point, Akimitsu gets seated in between Yuzuki and Hon. Therefore, Akimitsu acts like Cupid as if he doesn't know Yuzuki. He starts to bring out topics so Hon and Yuzuki would get to know each other better. First, he asks Hon what he would like to do on a date with his sweetheart. Even though Hon gives a simple answer that he would take her to the movies, Akimitsu starts to freak out and breaks his character because he starts to imagine the wild things Hon might do with her. Anyways, Akimitsu gets a hold of himself and moves on to the next question of how Hon would like to spend his day off. And again, he gives the simplest answer, which is to relax at hot springs. However, Akimitsu's intrusive thoughts start to kick in, but this time, Yuzuki calms him down. He is certainly down bad, but here, Akimitsu's mouth literally starts to bleed when he asks Hone how many kids he wishes to have. Since Hone replies with 10 kids, bro is trying to lead a soccer team. Therefore, Akimitsu gets taken away shortly after. Hone seems quite impressed by Akimitsu's care for Yuzuki. Moreover, Hone reveals that he considers himself an excellent judge of character, and he finds Akimitsu quite an honest person. And that's where Yuzuki realizes what she has been trying to do, and hence, she gathers guts to reveal that she doesn't intend to get married. We even see a glimpse of Kiki having a conversation with Yuzuki some days ago. Furthermore, Kiki is seen to suggest Yuzuki to use the Buddhist priest that she's about to meet. She explains to her that Yuzuki just has to buy time for the temple. Besides, the Buddhist priest would also get the chance to dream about marrying a young woman for some time. So Kiki thinks that this is a fair deal. She's the evilest temple girl to exist. Moreover, she was planning to get engaged to Hone to buy time for herself, and when she would become a priest in 3 years, Yuzuki would break the engagement. At this point, Yuzuki started to feel the guilt of scamming someone for her benefit. Therefore, she starts to apologize to Hone for wasting his time and lying to him. However, Hone seems to like the fact that Yuzuki is quite a straightforward kid. She literally lied for like 40 minutes straight. However, he then tells her that the Mikazuki temple is broken and understaffed, and the main temple seems in need of renovation. Moreover, he asks Yuzuki how she can save others when she can't even take care of herself. Hone believes that closing the temple would be the best idea since it wouldn't make anyone happy due to its condition. He doesn't find the Mikazuki temple worth protecting. And for some unknown reason, Akimitsu draws out a knife so he could give his life to restore the temple's image, since he blames his father for borrowing money from the temple and making its condition bad. Moreover, he starts to beg Hone to let them keep the temple open, and a debate begins in between Hone and Akimitsu, in which Hone makes Akimitsu promise that he'll always support Yuzuki even when the temple would fall. Moreover, he asks him to swear to stay by her side even at her worst. Moreover, Hone makes Akimitsu promise that he would build a family with Yuzuki. What the heck is even that fight? And alas, Hone gets convinced and tells Yuzuki that he'll get engaged to Yuzuki for 3 years so she could save the temple. And so the temple gets saved. Moments later, as Hone returns to his room, a lady is shown who seems disappointed in Hone, since she told him to convince Yuzuki into shutting the temple up. And that lady is none other than the nun that met Akimitsu outside the temple. Turns out her name is High Priest Oba, and she seems to know about Akimitsu and his father. On the other hand, we see Yuzuki and Akimitsu walking to the station together. It quite relieves Akimitsu to realize that Yuzuki is getting engaged to Hone, although she wouldn't marry him. Moreover, Akimitsu wouldn't have to move out of the temple anymore. It makes Yuzuki emotional to see Akimitsu celebrating not getting to leave her. Therefore, she hugs him from behind. Don't know if that counts as a hug. Unfortunately, they seem to have missed all the trains and can't even find a taxi to return home. Moreover, Yuzuki's cell phone seems to be dead. Wait, didn't they arrive on a truck? At this point, they are left with no option but to spend the night together in a hotel. So Akimitsu continuously starts to get thoughts of worldly desires, even though he tries to distract himself. Moreover, Yuzuki unintentionally keeps triggering his intentions, or maybe they aren't unintentional. And at some point, Yuzuki gets convinced that if Akimitsu wants her body, then she's ready to fulfill his needs, since he promised Hone to stay by her side and support her. However, as she walks out of the shower, she sees Akimitsu tying himself up so he could control his desires. And so the episode ends with Yuzuki putting a blindfold on him. The next day starts with Tsukuyo calling Yuzuki's name while she's asleep. Turns out she's been waiting for Yuzuki to return since last night. Moreover, she immediately runs towards the door when Suzuki and Akimitsu arrive. Tsukuyo is pissed at Yuzuki for not informing her about staying out overnight. She would freak out to know that Akimitsu and Yuzuki spent the night together in a love hotel. So Yuzuki gives her an explanation that her cell phone got dead. Therefore, she wasn't able to contact anyone. Anyways, Tsukuyo feels relieved to see them returning home safely. That's where Yuzuki and Akimitsu make a weird face and act like nothing weird happened on their journey. It then cuts to Yuzuki going to school with Tsukuyo. After knowing the whole story, Tsukuyo feels embarrassed about the fact that Yuzuki and Akimitsu stayed at a love hotel, although Yuzuki makes her believe that nothing happened between them. Moreover, Yuzuki feared she might have cheated on the same day she got engaged. She strictly warns Yuzuki to not tell anyone about that at the school. Even hide the fact that Akimitsu is living with them, since it would leave a bad impression on them. So Yuzuki tells her that it's normal for temples to have a live-in help of males. But since the girls at the temple are practicing nunnery, therefore having a male upon them isn't good. Moreover, people's faith in them might fade away. Later in the classroom, Tsukuyo is still wondering how Yuzuki has let her guard so down. Before Akimitsu, she was a noblewoman who wouldn't even interact with men. Seeing her worried, Mona and Yuki approach her. And out of nowhere, Mona tells that she heard a rumor about Tsukuyo having a boyfriend. Furthermore, Mona tells that she even has eyewitnesses who saw Tsukuyo kissing a boy by the river. Moreover, that other guy was wearing temple clothes. Wait, when did that happen? Looks like someone misunderstood the situation when Tsukuyo was whispering into Akimitsu's ear a few days ago. Tsukuyo gets hyped up and starts to clarify herself loudly. Moreover, that dumbass revealed that she was simply whispering in Akimitsu's ear about how they kissed before. At this point, the whole class seems to be watching her, since she's being loud. It shocks both Mona and Yuki, whereas Tsukuyo seems embarrassed for talking too much. So Mona reveals that this news might break many hearts at the school, since Tsukuyo is a crush on many boys. Furthermore, she reveals that the Oba sisters are quite popular at the school. Yuzuki is famous for being gorgeous, whereas Tsukuyo is famous for her big melons. Looks like the topic of Tsukuyo having a boyfriend is quite trending in the school. And when things couldn't go worse, Akimitsu seems to arrive at the school to give Tsukuyo the lunch that she forgot at home. It freaks her out because she is already getting assumed to have a boyfriend who wears a temple outfit. So Tsukuyo immediately runs away from the class, whereas we see Akimitsu asking random students about Tsukuyo's classroom. And as Akimitsu is about to introduce himself, Tsukuyo knocks him out from behind as she hides her face by wearing a paper bag. Akimitsu then wakes up at the nurse's office where Tsukuyo reveals herself. And when he is about to leave, she drags him inside and tells him to hide in the nurse's office until the PE class ends. Moments later, Yuki and Mona walk inside the nurse's office to check up on Tsukuyo. So she manages to Akimitsu under the same bed she is laying upon. However, Mona finds Tsukuyo's legs quite weird, so she pulls Akimitsu so up, and he ends up getting inside her shirt. She is literally making the situation look more awkward. Anyways, Mona then asks Tsukuyo to return to the archery club, since a tournament is about to begin. Moreover, everyone seems to miss her. However, she covers it up by saying that she's busy helping her family. After those girls leave, Akimitsu finally gets a chance to breathe since he was covered with her melons. On the other hand, Tsukuyo thinks that he took advantage of the situation. She literally pushed him in. Imagine if Mona had pulled the sheet. Tsukuyo's life would have been ruined. Akimitsu then tells Tsukuyo to continue her school activities. He will handle her part of the house chores. And as he is about to leave, Tsukuyo again pulls him and throws him on the nurse's bed, and that's where Mona and Yuki walk in. We then see a glimpse of the time when Tsukuyo seems inspired by Yuzuki's archery skills. Moreover, she decided to join the club because of her, so she could get close to her. But later, it breaks her heart when Yuzuki reveals that she is leaving the archery club and thinking about taking over the temple. The next day, Akimitsu sees Yuzuki carrying a bow. She explains that holding a bow itself is a standing meditation. In Buddhist schools, they teach their students to stand still while holding a bow. Furthermore, Yuzuki starts to teach archery to Akimitsu. Moments later, when Akimitsu goes to check on Tsukuyo, Kugari tells him that she won't step outside the room since Tsukuyo is in her shut-in mode today. Whenever Tsukuyo gets worried about something, she starts to isolate herself. So to cheer her up, Akimitsu decides to appear on her window by bungee jumping. However, when Tsukuyo is changing her clothes, Akimitsu pops in front of her window, though he ends up getting hanged by his neck as the wires get twisted. Hence, Tsukuyo rushes out and cuts those wires before Akimitsu would have bungee jumped to heaven. Anyways, Akimitsu tells her that he has taken care of every house chores. Moreover, he tells her that he will take care of any guests or work that will come in the future. So now Tsukuyo can join the archery club. However, she immediately interrupts him and tells him that she isn't interested in the archery club in a salty tone. Moreover, she says that Akimitsu is being too stuffy. Therefore, she walks out for a walk. She somehow ends up visiting the archery class, and that's where Akimitsu catches her. It freaks her out because someone in the school might spot them being alone in the classroom. Therefore, they run away. Furthermore, she reveals that she isn't good enough. Besides, she joined this club because of Yuzuki, who later dropped it. Moreover, she thinks that Yuzuki is way better than her in archery, so she should be the one to rejoin the club instead of her. It hurts her about the fact that Yuzuki left the archery club for their sake since she sacrificed her passion for the temple. She finds Yuzuki as a great person who even hired a matchmaker for the sake of the temple. That's where Akimitsu holds Tsukuyo's hand and tells her that she can't forbid her happiness due to Yuzuki's struggle. Akimitsu then takes her to the temple where Yuzuki seems to be practicing archery. Although she seems to suck, Akimitsu reveals that it was Tsukuyo's imagination that made Yuzuki a professional. But that's where we see Tsukuyo blindly fangirling Yuzuki. Though her eyes open when Yuzuki tries again and she doesn't even manage to throw a straight shot. That's when she realizes that the reason Yuzuki left the club was actually because she sucked at it, and her excessive love for Yuzuki made her look like Yuzuki is a professional in archery. Later that night, Tsukuyo informs Akimitsu that she has decided to rejoin the archery club, so Akimitsu tells her that he did all that just to see her happy. It quite cheers her up, and that's when Tsukuyo shows Akimitsu the hickey he left on her chest at the nurse's office. Bro was just trying to breathe. So as a punishment, Tsukuyo asks him to stand straight and close his eyes. At this point, Akimitsu gets convinced that she is about to kiss him. But instead, Tsukuyo writes "Parv game" on his forehead and leaves. The next day, we see Oba Kugari, who thinks that she is a fine adult because she is about to join high school. However, she still intends to grow more. Moreover, she is writing all her feelings in a diary. Well, the fact that she believes that writing a diary would be proof that she's an adult shows how much of a kid she is. Moreover, she reveals that Kiki told her that self-reflection is the first step toward growth. Therefore, she started to write things in her diary. And the biggest thing that happened to them recently is Akimitsu shifting to their home as he becomes part of their family. Unlike others, Kugari's first impression of Akimitsu was nice. She always thinks that Akimitsu is a gentleman who treats her like a grown woman. Moreover, Kugari thinks that her family has begun to change little by little ever since Akimitsu arrived. Therefore, she finds him as a strange guy in a positive manner. And until Akimitsu is here, Kugari will always have content to write in her diary. It then cuts to Yuzuki stepping on the weight machine, and the result freaks her so much that she calls out a meeting between the girls. And in the meeting, Yuzuki straight blames the machine as she calls it a cursed machine that displays values that are higher than expected. Moreover, she blames Akimitsu for all this because he has moved in and started to make delicious food. The weight machine somehow started to increase the results. At this point, everyone starts to agree with her since they have been experiencing the same problem for a while. Are they literally bashing that poor guy for making delicious food? So Mia comes to the conclusion that they should buy a new scale, but the girl mocks her and tells her to be serious. However, we see Kagura smirking because she knows who really is cursed. Hence, Tsukuyo concludes that they all should start exercising to lift the curse away. Hence, everyone starts to exercise the very next morning. Although all we see are women crawling on the floor while making weird voices, and so after their workout session, the girls decide to go back and continue their house chores. Hence, after a long day, everyone seems exhausted at night as the girls hold another meeting. However, Kagura seems pretty relaxed. She didn't even work out with the group. So it makes Mia curious. That's where Kagura reveals that since she's an adult, she will probably be fine and would maintain her figure. It low-key pisses everyone off because they have been working their asses off today, whereas Mia will deal with her weight without breaking any sweat. Furthermore, Yuzuki says that they are now left with no option but to start dieting. It quite shocks everyone, but Yuzuki reveals that they don't have any other option besides that. Moreover, they would be needing Akimitsu's help to follow their diet plan, since this temple has a rule that you have to eat everything that gets served. So from now on, Akimitsu should cook less food as long as this rule exists. At this point, Tsukuyo starts to feel embarrassed because she doesn't want Akimitsu to know she is dieting. Hence, everyone starts to tease Tsukuyo that she should marry him. And for unknown reasons, Hugari starts to get sad that one day Akimitsu will have to leave, which would make her quite sad. Therefore, she wants Tsukuyo to marry him so he would stay with them forever. And for Akimitsu's sake, Hugari is ready to give up her sister for it. She's literally down to sacrifice her sister so she could eat good food for the rest of her life. So Tsukuyo tells Hugari why she doesn't marry Akimitsu if she wants him around that much. Although Tsukuyo was simply kidding, Hugari seems to find it a perfect idea. Anyways, as the girls are talking about maintaining themselves and making a diet plan, Akimitsu enters the room and introduces them to some Japanese sweets that he tried to make. Without a second thought, everyone jumps in and eats all the sweets. Later, when Hugari was writing her diary, she starts to wonder if Akimitsu will wait for her to become an adult, so he would marry her and become an official and permanent member of the Oba family. We then see Akimitsu putting his passion into cooking. But that is when Yuzuki steps into the kitchen and she calls him out. Yuzuki tells Akimitsu to start adding pickled radishes to their meals from now on. It quite confuses Akimitsu, but he doesn't seem to mind. Moreover, Akimitsu notices that Yuzuki is holding an axe as she leaves the kitchen. Therefore, he concludes that she is planning to execute him. For a moment, Akimitsu starts to believe that Yuzuki would never do such a thing, but that's when he sees her practicing the axe by swinging it. Hence, his doubt becomes a fact, and he starts to fear that Yuzuki is trying to split his skull open. So to cheer her up, Akimitsu cooks an extravagant breakfast for them. It impresses everyone to see Yuzuki making such delicious meals. Turns out he made Yuzuki's favorite dishes just to fix her mood, though Yuzuki eats her breakfast reactionless. Hence, Akimitsu's heart skips a beat. Moments later, when Akimitsu is wandering around the house, he sees Yuzuki falling on the ground as her legs fall asleep. Moreover, she clears the misunderstanding about executing him. Moreover, Kiki explains that Yuzuki was practicing her training when her leg fell asleep. And the exercise she was doing is called Tizu. It was the first hurdle to training at the head temple. However, Yuzuki seems to be struggling in doing Tizu for 2 hours, whereas she is required to do it for 2 straight days. That's where Akimitsu's vision gets cleared as he realizes that previously, Yuzuki was swinging the axe to chop some wood. Moreover, talking while eating is prohibited in the head temple. Therefore, she was silent when she was eating her meal. However, Kiki says that Yuzuki is still quite clumsy. She needs to do further training if she wants to become a head priest soon. Hence, Akimitsu feels bad suspecting her, and he decides that he will use all of his energy and would support Yuzuki with her training. So Kiki offers Akimitsu if he wants to train with her. So she further reveals that Kiki has seen Akimitsu put all the effort into the temple. Therefore, she doesn't mind training him for free. Besides, Yuzuki was already looking for a training partner. Hence, Akimitsu officially joins Yuzuki in her training. Even Mia forces herself to join the training. The next day, Tsukuyo realizes that Akimitsu and Mia have joined the training, so she warns them to be careful in Tokudo. However, both of them have no idea about it, so they reach out to their master Kiki. Turns out Tokudo is a process that makes someone a priest. Hence, Mia and Akimitsu will have to go through Tokudo first in order to complete their training for the head priest. All this time, Akimitsu thought he was a priest just because he lives in the temple. So the devil inside Akimitsu wakes up after realizing that he isn't a saint yet. So he immediately jumps into Kiki's chest. However, he slowly controls himself. Furthermore, Kiki reveals that Yuzuki also hasn't gone through Tokudo yet. Moreover, Kiki reveals that it normally takes a year to complete the training. However, Yuzuki is willing to complete her training within 6 months. Hence, she's taking a lot of burden just so she can become a head priest as quickly as possible, just for the sake of the temple. While they are training, a surprising guest decides to visit the temple. And that guest is none other than Hone himself. Looks like he is here to see the temple and the family that Yuzuki is so proud of. Well, as expected, he starts to criticize the condition of the temple. Moreover, he tells Kiki to fasten up the training because in 3 months, Hone will be performing Tokudo. And if Yuzuki failed to do that within 3 months, he'll cancel his engagement with Yuzuki. Now that Hone has left a spark in the Aoba household, Kiki decides to gather these three and start preparing for Tokudo in earnest. She wants to show the rotten priest that her teaching ability is far greater than he expects by training the gang for Tokudo in 3 months. Yup, it's about pride now. At this point, Akimitsu, Yuzuki, and Miya are standing in a straight line with discipline. But that's where Kiki breaks the tempo by asking them about the color of the underwear they are wearing. Kiki's theory is that asking for underwear's color is mandatory, because training is meant to return one's body and mind to a blank white state. So even undergarments have a prior role in training. Hence, wearing unadorned white underwear would actually help these guys. However, Akimitsu doesn't own white underwear since he wears boxers, whereas Yuzuki's are left in the laundry. And lastly, Miya reveals that she only has red and black underwear. Well, Miya has some good tastes in undergarments. Even Akimitsu and Yuzuki get shocked to see a nun having such fancy colors as undergarments. Anyways, since none of them have the required undergarments, Kiki decides to train them commando for today. The episode takes a weird turn as we see Miya starting to moan while blaming Kiki for making her do something outrageous. On the other hand, Yuzuki also started to act weird. Akimitsu seems to be thanking Kiki for something as his eyes and mouth are bleeding with lustiness. Why did they hide the context? I can literally kill to find out what happened back there. Later, the training for Zazen begins. Kiki tells everyone to straighten their posture while calming their mind. If anyone gets distracted by their thoughts, Kiki will literally whack them with a stick. Looks like Akimitsu is having a peaceful time as he has closed his eyes and starts to feel the cold breeze. However, the girl's melons started to jiggle whenever Kiki would hit on their shoulders, and hence, Akimitsu's focus disturbs. Bro literally starts to shiver while trying to hide his hardened PP. Next, they start to practice sutras. Akimitsu seems to be doing a good job in writing. So Kiki tells him to help Yuzuki when she needs to head out for a moment. But as Akimitsu gets near to Yuzuki, his eyes automatically detect the two big problems that Yuzuki has. Hence, he starts to panic and ends up getting ink spilled all over his pants. Since he's wearing pajamas, therefore Akimitsu isn't wearing underwear, so Miya finds that opportunity and volunteers to clean him up. And before something obscene would have happened between them, Yuzuki immediately stops them and starts to beat poor Akimitsu for no reason. It's those damn jiggles that are ruining everything. Later, as these three head out to the street, Akimitsu and Miya apologize to Yuzuki for distracting her in training. Moreover, Miya and Akimitsu reveal that they are serious about accommodating Yuzuki in her training. They literally bought white undergarments for their training. Later, as they return home, Kiki reveals that from now on, these three will sleep together. And somehow it's part of the training. Is this seriously the training to become a head priest? Moments later, it is revealed that Hone forced Yuzuki to rush her to Kudo because in 3 months, a sect meeting will be held at the temple. Moreover, the higher-ups made that decision. Therefore, Hone wants Yuzuki to be prepared by that time since his reputation would be on the line. The next day, Kiki decides to make it a relaxing day as she takes the group to a unisex sauna. She reveals that to become a priest, one has to control himself while facing the opposite gender. Hence, she locks Akimitsu with Yuzuki and Miya inside the sauna. At this point, Miya and Akimitsu can't control and make the situation hard for Yuzuki with their worldly thoughts. Hence, Yuzuki realizes that Kiki is trying to train Makio. It's basically a training to control our worldly desires. So the group decides to share all their worldly desires and dirty thoughts, so they would overcome them. Although, Yuzuki denies it and reveals that her mind is pure and clean. But deep inside, her mind seems to be filled with the thoughts of seeing Akimitsu naked and about the memories she had with Akimitsu at the Love Hotel. So it excites the two dumbest humans on Earth. They think that Yuzuki has already mastered the art of Makio and entered a state of perfect selflessness. Hence, they decide to report this good news to Kiki. Whereas Yuzuki thinks that it's her personal thoughts, and no training can stop her from thinking about such scenes. Moreover, she reveals that watching Akimitsu and Miya getting along so well makes her quite jealous. Later, Kiki seems to be happy with her students. She believes that the training might have worked on all of them. Moreover, Kiki reveals that no matter how much enlightenment one achieves, their worldly thoughts would always remain. Therefore, instead of running from them, one should always face them and control them. Furthermore, Kiki reveals that a person without worldly desires doesn't exist. So if anyone claims to not have any worldly thoughts, then it means that they are the biggest and quietest pervert of all. Looks like the tables have turned. At this point, Mia and Akimitsu are literally looking straight into Yuzuki's eyes, whereas Yuzuki seems to be dead silent while avoiding eye contact with both of them. Anyways, after doing their training, Kiki reveals that the group is making great improvements. Therefore, she decides to take the afternoon off. Although everyone seems to be against that idea since the day just began, so Kiki tells them that pushing themselves hard might end up in injuries. Hence, everyone needs to have a break to step out of their routine. And while leaving, Kiki tells them to set aside fame and fortune as she walks away. So, Yuzuki explains that it means to stop thinking about gains and losses and enjoy the things that are around you. Since it's the third rule to unlock enlightenment, well, everyone is happy about the day being off except Akimitsu. Since it's 24 December, which means it's Christmas Eve today, so Akimitsu reveals that he hates Christmas Eve since his father used to bring in girls at home. Well, Yuzuki then asks Akimitsu to go out with her to divert his mind. Even though Akimitsu hates Christmas Eve, but with Yuzuki, this guy enjoys with his heart out. Moreover, both of them decide to buy each other a present for Christmas. Hence, they decide to visit the Buddhist goods specialty store where they meet Yuzuki's senpai Mori. She seems to be the shop owner. Well, she shows them a couple of prayer beads for them and reveals that at a Buddhist wedding, both the bride and the groom exchange prayer beads instead of rings. Looks like she mistook Akimitsu and Yuzuki as couples. Or did she? This girl is literally predicting the obvious future. Although Yuzuki starts to blush, Mary says that it's not usual for a boy and girl to roam around together on Christmas Eve, unless it's a date. At this point, both of them start to clarify the misunderstanding to Mari. However, she is successfully managing to repeatedly pull the strings as she makes them more embarrassed by her assumptions. So to stop her, Yuzuki immediately purchases a shirt from her and walks out of the store. Now that's some next-level seller. Moreover, Akimitsu also seems to have purchased something for Yuzuki. Hence, Christmas Day arrives and the Oba sisters notice that Mia has gotten sexier since she began her training. Moreover, Kagura gives credit to Akimitsu for changing them all. And it's crazy how Kagura, Mia, Tsukuyo, and Kugari used to plan on how to kick Akimitsu out of the temple. They feel thankful to Akimitsu for bringing joy to their life. Shockingly, the episode ends with Kagura showing her evil side as she thinks that Akimitsu is a nuisance and she needs to stamp him out. At this point, everyone is prepared and excited for the Christmas party to begin. Damn, these girls are looking hella fine in their Christmas fit. Even Akimitsu is excited because he believes that today is a great opportunity for him to repay everyone for their kindness. Hence, the hero has decided to cook his specialties today. He even bought a secret present that he plans to give to Yuzuki. Although no one has high expectations from him, they all think that Akimitsu will cook vegetables for Christmas dinner. But that's where the hero exceeds their expectations with meat. Anyways, the group then enjoys the feast and finally, the fun part begins. They decide to exchange presents. Akimitsu is quite excited to give her the gift to convey his gratitude towards Yuzuki. Well, turns out that's not how things are going to work here. Basically, everyone's present will be tied with a rope, so everyone will randomly pull those ropes up and whatever box is tied with the rope will be theirs. Hopefully you got what I'm saying. Akimitsu couldn't believe that the exchanges of gifts would be randomized, so the guy spent a fortune to buy a gift for Yuzuki. While everyone is tying their gifts, Mia simply ties herself. Not sure where this is going. Even Akimitsu does that and tells everyone that he's willing to give his organ away. He tells Yuzuki that he didn't bring any presents, so she hands him a card that says that Akimitsu will do anything for a year. And finally, the gift exchanging session begins. Well, for some unknown reason, Yuzuki ended up buying a vibrator thinking that it's a kokushi. When Tsukuyo ends up getting that present, it freaks her out, whereas Yuzuki gets a marriage contract with Kugari. She had high hopes that Akimitsu would get her present. Fortunately, both Mia and Akimitsu get their one-year slavery card, so Kagura exchanges gifts with Akimitsu. He gives her his slavery card while she hands him a DVD of Mia's bold photos. Though Yuzuki tries to get rid of that unholy CD before Akimitsu's intentions can get unholy. Turns out she was simply messing with him. She then hands him the actual gift, which is free passes to a hot spring inn. Well, she had enough passes for everyone. Later that night while praying, Yuzuki mentions that their Christmas doesn't usually go like this, after their father moved out and their mother left for the head temple. Christmas used to be like an ordinary day for them. She is grateful because everyone has been smiling since Akimitsu joined them. That's where both of them take out their gifts at the same time. It appears that they both ended up buying the same prayer bead for each other, although they are in different colors. They both turn red when they realize that in Buddhist weddings, the couple exchanges prayer beads instead of rings. And right when they are about to hold hands, Kiki walks in. She seems worried. Turns out there's a problem with Yuzuki's Takuto ceremony. The location for the ceremony is decided to be the main hall of this temple. But after looking at the temple's condition, they might call this ceremony off. They've literally duct taped the god they worship. Later that night, the group arrives at the Hot Springs Inn where Kiki tells them to not worry and have fun. For some unknown reason, the staff is crying with joy after looking at them. Something seems fishy. Akimitsu then gets separated from the girls, and a guy then purposely gives Akimitsu a spicy drink. On the other hand, we see Kuguri playing with Tsukuyo's jiggles. The girl then hops into the pool while discussing Kagura since she hasn't arrived yet. Tsukuyo and Mia find her suspicious for always walking with a camera. Well, Mia backs her up because she and Kagura have been friends since grade school. Kagura always stays by her side, even though she's quite mysterious. But Mia has faith that she would never betray her. After all, they're best friends. On the other hand, Akimitsu is living his dream. He can't get over the fact that this hot spring is mixed and he can see the girls from his pool. I mean, they all were walking around naked. Hopefully, he doesn't ruin the pool. At this point, no one has noticed Akimitsu because he entered from another pathway, but that's when he notices Mia looking at him, although she then silently walks away while smiling. So it impresses Akimitsu to see her acting so cool in this situation. Moreover, he starts to walk away because the girls would freak out if they knew that a guy was peeping at them. Meanwhile, Kagura starts to ask questions from the girls about what they would do if they found out Akimitsu was peeping at them. At first, the girls get hyped and say that they'll kick him out of the temple since that would literally break their trust. But then Yuzuki backs him up by saying that Akimitsu would never do such a thing intentionally, and if he does it then he would probably have some logical reasons. Whereas Akimitsu's modesty rises after realizing how much the girls trust him. Hence, he decides to confront his guilt of peeping at the girls as he walks towards them. Kagura then shoots the soap at Akimitsu, which removes his towel from the lower side. And so, the girls get scared as hell after seeing his sausage. Later, we see Akimitsu being punished for his actions. Moreover, Kagura and Mia decide to stay at the inn with Akimitsu, while the rest return to the temple. Two girls staying after looking at his banana. Well, that's pretty much suspicious if you ask me. Well, Kagura then provides a personal pool to Akimitsu, where she silently spectates Akimitsu's rock being hard. She even offers to calm his rock down. It freaks him out to see Kagura. But that's not it. She literally holds him down while she lays on him and rubs her finger around his body. She even bites his ears. And here I thought this girl doesn't like Akimitsu. Well, to control his desires, the hero literally punches his sensitive part and gets knocked down. That's where Kagura reveals that she reserved the whole inn to make him follow his desires. But Akimitsu's persistence impresses her. She even planned that prank in the hot spring. Furthermore, she reveals that Akimitsu was drugged with an aphrodisiac, which was mixed in the drink earlier. That's why his wood is going nuts. It appears that Kagura doesn't like Akimitsu wandering around the temple. Therefore, she tries to frame and exterminate him. She straight up tells Akimitsu to leave the Mikazuki temple as she finds him a distraction from her plan. The reason why Kagura came to Japan was to raise an exotic queen. Her goal is to make Mia an exotic queen who would have sexual intercourse with at least 100 men. Mia belongs to a family that has a peculiar history. But ever since Akimitsu walked in, Mia has stopped even thinking about other men. While Kagura is explaining her plan while leaning on a naked guy, Mia walks in and freaks out. But Kagura hypnotizes both of them as they fall asleep. Akimitsu then wakes up being tied in a chair while Kagura tells him that her family, the Baldwins, works secretly in the shadows for Mia's family, the Kristoffs. Hence, she's loyal to the Kristoffs and would serve them till death. So Akimitsu suggests Kagura to help Mia fight against the fetters of her family instead of forcing her to be an exotic queen. Though she doesn't buy that and asks Akimitsu, what would he do after his debt gets paid? Would he stay at the temple or would move out? She then starts to trigger him by saying that he ran away from his home instead of following the fetters of giving yourself into worldly desires. And even at this point, Mia and Akimitsu are running away while Yuzuki is facing her family head-on. She then tries to strike a deal with Akimitsu in which she would pay all of his pending debt and would even repair the temple's principal figure. Whereas all Akimitsu would have to do is leave the temple for once and all. So now the temple's fate lies in Akimitsu's hands. Everyone is offering their prayers in the temple when MC thinks about the temple. He wants to stay here as long as possible to pay off his debt. They have a mochi pounding tradition to do today. This has been in the generations of this temple, and it's done at the end of every year apparently. Yeah, I can see that. Pounding a little mochi is no harm, I think. Yuzuki explains all the traditions to MC, and they make teams of two. MC decides to join the team of Tsukuyo and Kuraji. He is about to indulge in the tradition of the temple, and this is the very thing he wanted to do since he joined the temple. MC wants to show that he can be of service to this temple and work diligently. One person has to thump the mochi while the other one kneads it. MC picks up the hammer-like thing to thump when Kuraji makes a rather inappropriate joke. She thinks that pounding mochi is like another activity that adults do in which the man slaps and the woman keeps it together. Yeah, I cannot say more than that, sorry. MC doesn't want his manly desires to accompany him while performing the tradition, so MC and Tsukuyo trade places. Now Tsukuyo is pounding on the mochi, and while doing so, her melons are bouncing up and down like crazy. MC cannot help but stare at them. He gathers himself together and focuses on the tradition. Now they trade positions once again, and now MC is going to pound on the mochi. Kuraji once again makes a joke and says that MC has to focus on 3 mochis in front of him. The first is the real mochi, and the second and third ones are Tsukuyo's melons. MC pokes himself in the eyes to stop himself from looking at them. After cleaning his hands in the washroom, MC asks Kuraji why she made that joke. She feels like he prefers Yuzuki's balloons instead of Tsukuyo. This girl is very weird. He is about to help Kagura and Mia when Mia shows up in a weird dress. Her dress is very suggestive and MC cannot stop looking at her. She thinks dressing like this is crucial to performing this tradition. Kagura explains how performing in a rabbit costume is a penance they must do. They are ready to pound on mochi, and this time, MC and Mia are doing it and sharing the hammer to pound. MC is confused if this is necessary, but Kagura explains this is how it is done in the tradition. We always have to pound traditionally. She explains that the man has to hold onto the woman's melons and assist her in pounding from behind. MC cannot just hold Mia's balloons and decides to hold her from her waist. He holds her and performs the pound 2 to 3 times. Mia is close to burning up because MC is holding her from her waist in his arms. Tsukuyo calls MC, and he turns to look only to find her in the bunny costume as well. Kugari is also in a bunny costume, but hers is not a suggestive one but a simple one. This is all very confusing, and right then Yuzuki shows up. She is pissed off seeing Mia and Tsukuyo in these dresses and explains how there is no penance of the sort MC just told her. MC realizes that this is something Kagura is planning because she wants him out of the temple. After a hard day of work, MC makes soup for everyone. He is a great cook, so everyone loves vegetable soup. Soup blows everyone's exhaustion away and they are happy. Kiki isn't present, so MC takes her soup to her outside. She is sitting outside alone, enjoying the nice view. MC gives her the soup, which she gladly takes and eats. After complimenting his cooking skills, Kiki offers a drink to MC. He hasn't drunk since the mixers, so he chugs it up really fast. Kiki asks MC about his future. She knows Yuzuki will be becoming the head priest of this temple after she passes the Tukudo. This is all thanks to MC and how he has worked for her. She wonders if MC is planning on staying here and he wants to come with her. Kiki is going to go run her family's temple after Yuzuki is the head priest. Being drunk, Kiki starts saying weird stuff and scares off MC. Her smile is very ominous. It's the new year and everyone is visiting the shrine. They never managed to come here because of all the work they had to do on New Year's Day, but they had the time this year. MC gives everyone glasses and masks to cover up because he thinks no one should identify them. It's because of the violent history between shrines and temples, but Yuzuki explains how they get along now. He was worrying for no reason. Anyways, everyone is enjoying themselves here at the shrine when Tsukuyo comes up to MC. She is expecting a compliment from him, which she doesn't get. Mockingly, Tsukuyo tells how he should compliment other girls. He starts ranting about how beautiful and cute she is, which makes her run away and blush. Mia calls MC to help her draw the fortune. After helping her find her fortune, MC compliments Mia, which confuses her. MC explains how he is seeking to compliment other girls. Mia explains how he should do that because this way is not okay. He is just standing and looking at everyone enjoying this place when Yuzuki comes up to him. She is looking her best today and MC is about to compliment her the way he did before. But he suddenly remembers how Mia told him to do it and says that he wants to make love to Yuzuki. This grown-ass adult cannot even compliment other girls. Yuzuki is very happy that they are here in the new year instead of working in the temple. She is hopeful that she will be protecting the Mikuzaki temple with all her might, and she would never let them close this temple. The day MC helped her reach the matchmaking ceremony in time really motivated her to keep on going because, without that motivation, she would have given up a long time ago. MC is constantly disrupted by what Kagura tells him about leaving the temple. But he remembers the oath he took that day to always support Yuzuki no matter what. He is not going to let her down now. On the other hand, Kagura remembers her oath to make Mia the erotic queen she wanted. She remembers how she was a very rebellious kid from the very start. She went on a strike against erotic symbols. Mia was so set upon defying the motive of her family that she wanted to make non-erotic songs as a protest. Kagura realizes she cannot tame her like that, so she goes to her family, asking their permission to take Mia to Japan. There they would be living in a nunnery, which will counterintuitively make her seek men. Her mother liked this idea and gave her permission, but she wanted confirmation about the progress, so she gave her a camera to send her pictures of progress every 3 days. In case she couldn't, they will be brought back. This was a big mission for Kagura, which wasn't going on smoothly at the start. She would send drawings as pictures to make it look like her plan was working until MC arrived. He was the reason she used that camera every time they engaged in those kinds of activities. But slowly, Mia fell in love with MC, and she cannot admit that. She knew her plan was working, but it was working too well. That is why she told MC to leave so Mia can get back on track and make progress in being an erotic queen. This is a very strange and useless motive, but okay. MC is here and Kagura is expecting an answer. Her offer seems very generous to him and he accepts. Kagura assures him that she will send him the money after he leaves, but suddenly, MC has a change of heart. He declines her offer, telling her that he cannot just leave Yuzuki like that. And he has also promised Mia that they will fight together. Hearing about Mia pisses Kagura off and she looks emotional for the very first time. She is mad that MC is talking like he knows Mia. But MC knows Kagura is just helping her friend. He also knows about her family issues about erotic and whatnot, so he totally understands. He is ranting about Mia when Kagura kicks MC right in the nuts, making him stop talking about her. MC is surprised to see Kagura emotional for the first time as well. She gets back to everyone when Yuzuki asks her if she knows any way to make money quickly. Mia believes in her and explains that anyone can depend on Kagura, calling her best friend. This touches Kagura's heart. It's morning and MC feels very fresh, as though he has been dead for a long time and got reincarnated. Yuzuki comes in to see and tells him that she and Kiki will be going out. Mia and Kagura are up though. Hearing Kagura's name, MC starts shaking and looks terrified. Going outside, MC finds Mia on the table and asks about everyone. Hearing Kagura's name again terrifies him, and Mia figures out that something has happened between them. Taking MC to Kagura, Mia tells her that she wants her and MC to get along because they both mean very well to her. Kagura acts like everything is okay while MC is still shaking. Mia asks MC about Kagura, and he thinks she is very mysterious. On the other hand, Kagura thinks MC is a wonderful person. Mia agrees with Kagura but also wants them to get along no matter what. She takes them to the same shed she and MC opened up in and locks Kagura and MC in there. Kagura is surprised that her method is just used against her and she could do nothing. MC is shaking and clearly doesn't want to be alone with Kagura. Kagura threatens him, saying if she told everyone that he assaulted her here, this would make kicking out MC very easy. But she doesn't do that and wants MC to just leave on his own. She wants him to make Mia do erotic things to him and everything will be fine. But MC wants to fight these things with her, which is totally opposite of what she wants. MC also wants to be friends with Kagura. Kagura remembers something and kicks out the door. The door breaks open and they are free. Kagura thinks she can make MC stay away from Yuzuki and close to Mia. Maybe she can make MC fall in love with Mia, and this way she can take him to her family, making Kagura achieve the goal she wanted. She suddenly wants to be MC's friend, which obviously terrifies MC. Tsukuyo is having a dream about MC where he is kissing her. She is pushed against the wall by him and he is about to kiss her when she wakes up. She is holding Kugari tightly and isn't letting her go. Karaji blackmails her to give her some chocolates to keep her mouth shut. Tsukuyo goes outside to see MC come in looking so carefree. She is getting a rush of weird feelings and cannot control them. Suddenly, Mia also shows up in MC and she starts chatting. Seeing them so close makes her imagination go wild, and she thinks these are an item of some sort. Kagura is watching Tsukuyo look at them and decides to show her the videos of them performing various penances. Tsukuyo is utterly disgusted and thinks they are in love with each other. Right as she is thinking all this, Mia trips and holds MC to refrain from falling. And she says something along the lines of "I just got turned on." Hearing this makes Tsukuyo's suspicions confirmed and she sets an interrogation for Mia. She, Mia, and Kagura are in the room and Tsukuyo is about to interrogate Mia. Kagura feels like MC should have been present, but Tsukuyo doesn't want to see him right now. She wonders if Kagura also likes MC, but she is just interested in making a video of everything Mia does with him. Tsukuyo straight up asks if Mia likes MC. Mia is confused about what to say but says she doesn't. Hearing this makes Tsukuyo more confused. She explains how they look totally in love by seeing how close they are. Mia thinks they have to get along like that because they are both partners in training. She came here because of her worldly desires, and with a man like MC by her side, she can totally control her thoughts and desires. Also, she thinks MC is the world's most handsome man and no one could ask for a better partner than him. Tsukuyo is confused hearing this talk about partners and such. Kagura doesn't feel that surprised hearing that Mia doesn't like MC. Seems fishy for some reason. Tsukuyo is hearing everything Mia is saying and it's making her more jealous. Mia is still elaborating how she is destined to be partners with a guy like MC, and with him by his side, she can totally grow to be the best person. She also wants to live with him forever if she can do that. Kagura grabs Mia and ties her, suspending her in the air. Tsukuyo is about to ask more questions when she says MC's name and he comes in thinking someone called him. He thinks they are playing a game, but looking at Mia all tied up, he is having second thoughts on this game. He asks Tsukuyo about this, but she is bright red because of MC. She cannot look at him directly but decides to ask him directly about the video. Tsukuyo tells Kagura to show him the evidence, but she doesn't have her camera with her right now. Kugari then walks in with her camera and asks if this belongs to Kagura. Tsukuyo tells Kugari to not play the video on that camera, which is what she does exactly. Seeing the video, Kugari is very focused on it. Tsukuyo is devastated that her little sister is now exposed to these filthy videos, but Kugari has other thoughts. She finds the game they are playing in the video quite fun. Tsukuyo is confused, but Kugari points out that there is clearly a carpet under them, which indicates they are playing a game. Tsukuyo had a completely different idea in her mind, and now Kyuguri is insistent on finding out. She's pushing Tsukuyo to spill the beans about what she originally thought they were doing. Poor Tsukuyo. MC, on the other hand, feels proud to see this video of him and Mia playing this game. The next day, MC is about to cook dinner for everyone when he is devastated seeing the empty box of rice. He screams like a little girl, which makes Mia run to the kitchen. MC cannot believe they are broke because he wants to repay everything and also fix the statue of the monk, but nothing is going well so far. Mia comes in asking what happened. When MC tells her about rice, Mia feels like they can just go and buy more rice, but MC tells her about the financial matter also. Mia has an idea, and it's to go get tribute from other people in the form of rice. MC thinks that doesn't happen anymore, and it's the thing of ancient times. Yuzuki comes in asking what happened when MC tells her about the rice condition. She doesn't feel that surprised and thinks it's time to go get tribute now. MC is surprised, obviously hearing this is for real. Anyways, they are on the way to get tribute when Yuzuki explains the process. She explains how they are serving the people of this area and they pay them in rice. It's like rent, but they cannot take any money. MC wonders why they cannot take money, and it's because they don't want it to seem like the temple is making a profit out of the people. Yuzuki feels very confident that people never let them down and always pay tribute on time. Saying this, they reach the first house and they straight up refuse. Yuzuki tried one more time and they wouldn't even open the door. Next house also mocks them, saying tribute doesn't happen in this age. Like this, so many houses refuse. One house lets them take rice if they clean their house. They cleaned it, and even then they didn't give them any rice. It's hopeless, but there is one house left. This lady looks very kind and invites them into the house. Her kids come out to meet Yuzuki. These are strange kids and asks Yuzuki to show them her melons. Kids wanting to see them. Wow. MC and Mia are shocked to hear these kids, but it's normal for Yuzuki as it seems. Anyways, Mia comes in and gives these kids some wisdom for not being this pervy in their little age. She wants them to grow into good adults. Kids latch on Mia, saying they want to see her adult melons. Meanwhile, MC starts chatting with the lady. She explains how Yuzuki's mother ran the temple and everyone gave tribute on time. She always made them secure, and this is why everyone was punctual. But now she is gone and nobody pays on time. Saying this, there are huge haze of rice outside. MC picks one up when Yuzuki picks several up at the same time. Seeing Yuzuki work this hard motivates MC immensely. The training to become the priest is starting and Kiki is explaining all the things necessary to become the head priest. They have to undergo Takudo first and then become the head priest. The training is very hard and normally the training is supposed to be at least a year long. But Yuzuki is training to do that in under 6 months. She wants to become the head priest as fast as she can. Home told her to train for only 3 months for some reason. Anyways, Kiki explains further that Takudo takes place where the training took place. It means it is going to be at this temple. Before the Takudo, the temple is under inspection for any irregularities, and this temple has a great one, the big statue. It has a broken neck, and it has been a long time since it has been that way. They have to figure out a way to fix that, otherwise everyone is going to fail. Kiki has asked around for the price, and it is around 500,000 yen. That's a lot of money. Yuzuki and MC are shocked to hear this number, but for some reason, Yuzuki is very optimistic. She thinks everything is going to be fine, and there is certainly going to be a way to fix everything. MC and Kiki are freaking out here, but she still remains positive. Yuzuki has taken all the burden on herself. MC just wouldn't let her do that and started searching for a part-time job online. He is looking and finds a place suitable for him. They need a contact number, but he cannot just use the temple's number because he doesn't want to let anyone know about this. He had a phone, but he didn't anymore because he broke it. Thinking he can borrow it from someone else, he goes to Yuzuki's room. Upon knocking, he asks Yuzuki to talk for a second. She takes her time to come out, and when she does, she looks very cute. She is dressed in a maid's costume and is looking very suggestive. MC is blown away looking at her big balloons. She wonders what MC wants at this time, but MC cannot focus on what he came here for. He starts getting wild imaginations of her serving him like a servant. Imagine her role-playing of some sort. He punches himself in the face to focus. Asking for a phone, Yuzuki bends down to look for her phone. This is also too much for him. She is looking for her phone because she dropped it under the bed or something. After finding it, she gives MC the phone and asks about it. He wants to work part-time and wants her number to be shared as the contact number. Yuzuki takes the phone back and explains how he is in training and that a trainee shouldn't work before his training is done. She is also in training, but she has to work. She was the one who started and she will be the one who finishes it. Yuzuki wants to follow her mother and how she managed to do all of this alone without any help. She is planning on doing 5 or 6 jobs in a day and is going to collect the money in no time. MC feels like she is just way out of bounds and doesn't know how to do this alone. He has work experience and he should be the one doing the job. Yuzuki just wouldn't let him do the job. That's when MC can't hold it in anymore and tells her to look at herself in the mirror. Yuzuki is devastated to see how she is looking. She feels so embarrassed but has an explanation for it. She took the uniform from her friend because she was joining her at the job she was doing. She just wanted to see how it looked on her. But when MC came to her room, she was sleeping in the dress and didn't have the time to change. Yuzuki explained she was half asleep because she was exhausted from looking for jobs. MC points out how she is already tired and she hasn't even begun her job. Yuzuki refuses what he just said and isn't admitting it. MC has got her, but Yuzuki is willing to make a bet. She wants him to prove she is tired by making her fall asleep, and if he can do that, she will let MC work too. This confuses him as this is very bizarre and out of the ordinary. He wonders how he is going to do that when Yuzuki suggests massaging. Lying on the bed, she is ready to be massaged. MC is controlling himself from doing this, but Yuzuki pushes him into it. He starts massaging her, and he is exceptionally good at it. Yuzuki is blown away by his massaging skills and cannot help but feel at peace and relaxed. She is trying her hardest to stay up but fails every time. MC is looking at her back and is trying to keep in his worldly desires. Meanwhile, Tsukuyo is walking by Yuzuki's room when she hears MC and Yuzuki panting a little strangely and making weird noises. She cannot believe what she is hearing and barges in to catch them red-handed, but it isn't what she imagined. It looks like they both are wrestling. MC explains everything to Tsukuyo. Yuzuki cannot admit her defeat when obviously she is defeated. She says to MC that it's none of his business and it sets him off. He is angry now and wants to do anything he wants now. Saying this, he asks Tsukuyo out and wants to go on a date tomorrow with her. Tsukuyo doesn't even know what is happening. The next day, Tsukuyo had a dream about MC asking her to marry him and consummate marriage right away. This is all looking too real for her, and she accidentally hits Kugari with her head in sleep. She again blackmails Tsukuyo to keep her mouth shut. While freshening up in the bathroom, Tsukuyo wondered if what MC said was actually his confession of feelings for her. She thinks she is just misunderstanding the situation again and nothing else. She is planning on going with the flow and thinks nothing about it. She takes her favorite outfit and her new boots out to get ready. Putting on a lot of makeup, she is ready to go out with MC. Tsukuyo feels like she is appearing very normal. MC shows up and he is in his monk work clothes like usual. This confirms Tsukuyo that she really just misunderstood the situation and nothing else. MC apologized for being late as he was training all day. He compliments Tsukuyo. Tsukuyo doesn't know how to react. MC feels happy that he is going out with a woman this beautiful. Tsukuyo tries to play hard and confuses him, saying she didn't say yes to his offer. Anyways, they are on the way when Tsukuyo asks about the plan for today. MC wants to buy a new phone. She knows he lost his phone, so this confirms her suspicions that it is just a misunderstanding. He has a phone plan in mind that he wants to purchase. At the shop, the lady tells him that he cannot buy this plan with a minor. Tsukuyo is a minor. Well, this is confusing. She shows him another plan and MC likes this one. After buying the phone, they are outside the shop when Tsukuyo cannot handle this tension anymore. She is about to go home when MC hands her apple juice, her favorite. She is surprised that this dummy actually pays attention to everyone. MC is about to go home when she grabs him from behind. Moments is very romantic and it looks like Tsukuyo is about to confess her feelings. She gathers all of her might and just asks to exchange contact information. That is all she could get out for now. MC is very excited that he just exchanged a number with a woman for the first time. She doesn't really know why MC bought the mobile, so she asks him. He wants to talk in private. This leads Tsukuyo to believe that maybe he is planning on asking Tsukuyo if she is up or not late at night, so they can do stuff alone without anyone knowing. This is all very confusing for her. She is frustrated out of her mind, thinking if MC is actually hitting on her or not. At night, Tsukuyo is trying to sleep when she gets a message from MC. It's a message thanking her for helping today. At the end of the message, MC has typed "I love you." This gets her to scream out of frustration. Nature is testing her today. We see little Yuzuki with her mother. Mother asks her why she wants to look over the temple because it is a lot of work. She is about to answer when the scene cuts. In the present, Yuzuki regrets what she said to MC and thinks he is mad at her now. She isn't the one who can just live like normal after behaving like that, so she plans on apologizing. She goes out to look for MC when she sees Tsukuyo and MC together. Something runs in her mind and she starts to run away from them. Kiki sees her running like crazy. A little later, MC thinks about what he said about doing what he wants now. That was childish of him, and he also wants to settle things with Yuzuki. He goes to her and wants to talk with her. He thought she would be mad, but Yuzuki is looking alright, other than she is bumping here and there a lot lately. He asks to talk with her when Kiki comes in telling Yuzuki to take some things to the storage shed. She has something to talk about with MC. They are outside when she asks if something happened between him and Yuzuki. It has, and it is exactly what she thought. She thinks it's a couple quarrel, but MC thinks they are not a couple. Kiki feels like they both are in love with each other and nothing else. They both are saying different stuff when she stops to ask MC. She points at her melons and asks what this is. Obviously, MC says melons, but that is not what Kiki was expecting. She knew he would say that, but that is not the right answer. She wanted him to see her as a whole and not her balloons. She then starts ranting about stuff about her finger, and you should be looking at the moon you are pointing your finger at. This is all very random, I feel like. She is making no sense here at all, and how is she a nun of all things? Even MC doesn't understand what she just said. Kiki asks what he thinks of Yuzuki. He feels like she is very dependable, hardworking, and someone who is very kind and natural. Kiki feels like MC is talking with a bias, but he is telling the truth. A guest comes to their temple and Yuzuki receives them. Kugari comes to inform Kiki about them and that they are here for Raiden. Raiden is when someone with a loved one's grave comes in to remove or transfer the grave someplace else. In other words, they are here to break the relationship with this temple. Kiki takes this as an opportunity and is planning on charging them so much that the issue of money won't bother them anymore. She is running as fast as she can to talk and negotiate a big fee from them, but when she reaches the main gate, the guests are gone and Yuzuki told them that their graves will be transferred free of cost. This devastates Kiki because it was their only chance to get some good money out of someone. Yuzuki explains how her mother told her to never charge for this thing and she just followed her mother. She is motivated to train even harder from now on, and suddenly, Kiki says that she is not to come to training from tomorrow anymore. Saying this, Kiki goes away and leaves MC and Yuzuki fully confused. The next day, Yuzuki wakes up and remembers that her training is over, but she is ready to work nonetheless. Going outside and everyone is at the table except MC and Kiki. They are off for Kiki's business and no one knows what it is. Anyways, Yuzuki is pre-hyped up to do all the work around the temple, but turns out there is no work to do. Ever since MC came, he has kept the temple spotless all the time and there is not a single place that is not clean to perfection. Tsukuyo wonders where MC went because he is not reading her messages. Hearing this, Mia wonders why she doesn't have MC's number, and everyone else starts complaining about not having his number. This makes Yuzuki admit that MC is a wonderful person who is good at everything. No wonder everyone loves him. She goes with a broom to work but sees that it is spotless. Everything is shining and is perfect. Nevertheless, she goes outside seeking a job, but nothing is working out for her. Yuzuki is trying her best, but her luck is not with her for now. Meanwhile, MC is begging Kiki to let Yuzuki continue her training. Kiki just isn't convinced and isn't going to let her train. She wants Yuzuki to figure it out herself this time for some reason. MC starts questioning her authority, which leads Kiki to threaten even his training. Kiki is about to leave the coffee shop when MC picks up Tsukuyo's call. She is screaming and worried because Yuzuki is missing. She has been gone all morning and hasn't been home till now. It's nighttime. She has been acting weird all day. MC freaks out and runs outside looking for her. It's raining heavily. MC looks for Yuzuki everywhere, but she isn't anywhere to be found. Meanwhile, Yuzuki is under the bridge where MC used to come and sit alone in fear and lack of confidence. She is very cold. Yuzuki is led to think that maybe she isn't good enough. She remembers when her mother almost closed this temple and she fought her to keep it open. She told her that she would be taking over the temple, but her mother thought she wouldn't be able to do it. Yuzuki is contemplating everything and thinks she is not trying hard enough. She needs to try harder and do something that will make her mother proud. She wants to become strong as her mother, but there is not enough she can do at this point. MC comes looking for her and thinks of all the places. Maybe she will be here. And she is. Taking off the lid, MC gives Yuzuki a hug which melts her right away. The next day, Yuzuki wakes up, but she has a fever and a bad one. She isn't able to get up. MC is right next to her sleeping. He was looking for her all night and fell asleep right here. Both wake up and want to apologize to each other. Yuzuki thanks MC for taking care of her. She is surprised that he found her and knew exactly where she would be. MC was almost certain she would be there because it was exactly where Yuzuki came to recruit him. MC explains how his father always told him to never live alone. He said it so much that he hated this sentence and wanted to live alone all the time. Until Yuzuki came and she erased the thought of living alone from his mind, and he thanked her for that. MC feels like Yuzuki is an idiot and also he has some attachment to that place, so it was not a big deal to find her. Yuzuki starts crying again thinking she is not good enough for this temple. MC assures her that he will always support her no matter what because he loves Mikuzaki Temple. Hearing this suddenly reminds Yuzuki what she said to her mother, and she told her that she would be taking over the temple because she loved it. Getting a glimpse of the past, Yuzuki thanks MC for keeping her motivated. Everyone barged in because they were outside hearing their conversation. Tsukuyo also assures Yuzuki that they all love the Mikuzaki Temple and she doesn't have to do anything alone by herself. They were worried sick about her. What is with Kagura and her fascination with pornographic material? Kiki comes in and Yuzuki apologizes to her. She has finally figured it out and knows that slamming yourself about not being good enough is not something a head priest should do, and she is ready to continue her training from now on. Kiki is satisfied and is ready to train her again. MC goes to thank Kiki too, but she reminds him that all she did was her job and Yuzuki is the one that figured it out. The next day, Yuzuki is up and ready to train again when MC comes out and sits with her. She is quitting looking for jobs and is sure that enough donations will come in to help them fix the principal figure. MC is ready to work with her. Everyone is going to do their job and everyone has a suggestive experience with MC in the morning. Like Tsukuyo accidentally smashing her melons with MC. Mia jumped on him. MC getting under Kagura's skirt. I mean, what kind of luck does this guy have? Everything is finally back on track and the temple is looking like getting better again soon.